Perfect. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you all. Some really familiar faces, some of my favorite people in the community. Welcome to our Let's Talk program with Adrian Western with Cayuga Health. We are so excited that he's here with us today to share some really great information. We are actually going to unveil a project and initiative that Adrian and I have been working on together a little bit later called our Let's Walk program. So we're excited to hear about that. Adrian is a great guy and a good friend to the Community Foundation. And we're so thankful that he's here with us today. Welcome and come on in. I see some more folks coming in. Get settled with your lunch. Grab your tea if you're tuning in while you're driving. Thanks for coming in. Thank you again. I see some folks coming in. We're here with Adrian Western, Director of Wellness, Cayuga Center for Healthy Living and School Health at Cayuga Health. And as our engagement strategy, we've asked what you want to know more about. So that's you, the community, want to know more about. And you said health and wellness. And so we listened. And we take very seriously our role as community partner and convener, and we'll continue to listen to your feedback. So I'm actually going to put a survey. We have a community survey out. Excuse me. I'll put the link in the chat. This and all of our Let's Talks are recorded and can be found on our website. Adrian's going to take us through an interactive presentation, sharing a wealth of information. We're, again, going to share a special announcement. We're going to take some questions at the end. We have a few that were submitted ahead of time. I'll ask those questions. Adrian will answer. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat as they come up. And without further ado, Adrian, it's all yours.
All right, perfect. And I will make sure to pay you that $20 for saying nice things about me later, Glow. So yeah, I'll kind of kick things off and just some housekeeping things. I am super informal when it comes to presentations, so feel free to hop in. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the chat, so feel free to raise your hands. I will be asking for folks to kind of chime in a couple times throughout the lecture presentation. So make sure you feel a little bit extroverted today. But to kind of hop into things, just a little intro on myself. I'm originally from West Virginia. Let's go Mountaineers. My educational background is in athletic training, sports medicine, exercise physiology, and coaching. My current role at CMC is Director of Wellness, Sports Medicine, Cayuga Center for Healthy Living, and School Health, and other duties as assigned, as many folks have in their job description. Fun fact about me, I actually hate running. I really hate it. I do it all the time, though. And we'll kind of talk about where my mind goes whenever we think of physical activity and potential barriers that maybe just live in our head. So I always like to, especially when I'm talking around CMC or Cayuga Health, is I like to kind of look back at, what is the overall mission statement of the health system. Our health system is growing significantly, as some of you may be aware, maybe not aware. And I think this is, it's always good to have that mission as to, what are we really trying to do kind of across the system, especially as we grow. And some of the things I just highlighted here is, the big thing is, be the most trusted driver of integrated health services. We'll talk about that a little bit. And embedded right in the mission statement is improve the well-being of communities we serve. So making sure that we are taking stock of where effort needs to be put to make sure we're not just taking care of the health, but also the wellness of individuals across our communities. So first, little question here. I've got a few things I'm going to pop up, and then I want a little bit of a response from the folks here. So what comes to mind whenever I put healthcare up on the screen? What comes to mind? And feel free to come off mute if you want to talk a little bit, put some things in the chat. I'll kind of keep an eye on it, but I'll just give a couple seconds. Healthcare. What do you think about whenever I say healthcare? Who has access? Doctors. Yep. Inconsistent. Okay. Wellness. Any others? Cost. Yep.
That's a good one.
Insurance.
Cost
Yep.
and insurance. Yep.
Healthy eating. Okay. I'll give you a couple more seconds if anybody else. Overall wellness, mental, physical, emotional. Okay. Exercise. Well, I'll say this. This is actually interesting, and I love that it's kind of going a different direction. Most people, at least whenever I think hard to navigate, love that one. I agree. Um, Most people, whenever you talk about healthcare, they actually think about sick care, right? So we think of I've got a cold, I'm going to the doctor. My blood pressure's too high, I'm going to go to the doctor. And these are all things that it's kind of retroactive. Something happens, prompts us, we need to go get checked out. So that's a lot of, in my mind, whenever I think about healthcare, that's what I think of. My mind naturally goes there of kind of, I had something happen, I broke my arm, I've got to seek care. So now if I flash another word up here, we'll ask for some feedback. Wellness. What comes to your mind whenever the word wellness comes up on the screen? Balance. Love that. And wellness is a hard one. I often try to like, how do you define wellness? It's so encompassing. Self-care, love that. Thriving, yep. Access to nutritious food, yeah. Any others? Mental and physical well-being, good. So part of the reason why I wanted to flash these up here is, I really kind of noticed that, one, healthcare and wellness definitely intertwined, but there is a little bit of a dichotomy where a lot of times healthcare, uh, we kind of are reactive, right? Whenever it comes to healthcare, something happens to us, as I said, we seek out healthcare. In my mind, wellness is more of a proactive state, right? So to to be well, you have to do something before negative consequences come. A lot of times, the negative consequence is your reaction. So I got to get well. Something's going wrong. But really, the two are very, very entwined. And I'm going to talk through some of what Cayuga Health has been working on. Give you some updates, and then we'll kind of focus on some initiatives, some different pieces surrounding wellness. So just to kind of update folks, if you weren't aware, just surrounding healthcare, I think many folks have kind of recognized that there's new buildings in place. Cayuga Health has grown. So just two new locations to highlight are our Cayuga Park location, which is right beside Green Star, housing women's health, immediate care, primary care, lab, and then the newest location is actually Cayuga Health at the Ithaca Mall. Beautiful location. I highly recommend if you can go in. They have been given some tours. I'm not sure if any more are planned, but beautiful. Both spaces are about 60,000 feet. And with the Cayuga Health at the Ithaca Mall, that's at this point in time is going to house Cayuga Heart and Vascular. So that cardio side of things. It's going to house primary care, internal medicine, and then rheumatology as well. And there are future plans for some other entities to kind of move up to that location. But that just gives you an idea of how we've kind of expanded the healthcare to try to address some of the access issues that folks are aware of. So we'll jump into wellness a little bit. And this is actually the building I work out of. So the Cayuga Wellness Center, most people know this as the Island Health and Fitness Building. But really, this is kind of an all-encompassing wellness. We use the word destination, right? So if you look at who's located within these 4, 8 walls, however you want to slice it, so we have the fitness center, Island Health and Fitness. We have physical therapy, Raza Spa, Cayuga Center for Healthy Living, and then sports medicine. And as you go through this, these all take care of a lot of different components surrounding wellness, right? So many people go to, when you think about wellness, they think about nutrition and exercise, both those within these four walls. Cayuga Center for Healthy Living, which we will kind of review a little bit here. That's really what they do. They focus on nutrition, healthy lifestyle, really how can you manage your day to day to get yourself into a well state. And then, when it comes to physical health, Island Health and Fitness, making sure that, we have access to be able to exercise. But what if I'm injured? My knee hurts, my shoulder hurts, I can't move the way I want to. That's really where physical therapy and sports medicine comes into play. And then whenever you think a little bit more into wellness, whether it be mindfulness or self-care, that's really the big component of Raza Spa. So they offer massages, Reiki, kind of anything on the holistic side. And this is a building that's been here for a long, long time, but I think people forget all the things that are located in this building. I'm going to highlight a couple different of the practices just to kind of give you guys a taste of, what's available. So Cayuga Center for Healthy Living is the first one, as we just talked about. And Glow and I were actually talking about CCHL right before everybody popped on. So I'll rehash a few things that we kind of talked about with her. But really, the purpose of Cayuga Center for Healthy Living is to help people manage their lifestyle to have good outcomes. So a lot of people think about, oh, they're going to help me with diet. That's not the only thing. They really make sure that they're taking care of the whole person, right? So how do we improve overall health and well-being? How do we become more active? We have several providers who are actually trained in what we call lifestyle medicine. So it really is all encompassing of, how do you eat the right way? How do you move your body in the right way? How do you manage stress in the right way? And they really are your partners to make sure that you are maxing out those things that you can control. And I think that's the big piece whenever it comes to wellness is we have control over our wellness, whether we think we do or not. And to be a little bit proactive and to have somebody that is in your corner to help you be proactive can be so, so beneficial. I think one big thing that folks struggle with, I consistently hear weight and weight loss. You can look at the data and, many people struggle with weight. And I don't think it's for lack of trying. I think there's a million different diets out there, programs that folks have tried, failed. Sometimes it does just take that kind of content expert to guide folks in the right way. And that's really the purpose of Cayuga Center for Healthy Living, to make sure that we are guiding folks into a more healthy lifestyle. Because I'll admit, I do the wrong things a lot of times, right? Even though I know the right thing to do whenever it comes to my wellness. Sometimes having that little accountability piece can be so, so, so important. And I see there are some questions in the chat. I'm going to run through and then I'll kind of circle back around on those. So next is our sports medicine office. And I actually want to change our name because most people think of sports medicine, they think of young athletes. And we do treat a lot of young athletes, but we've really expanded the practice of sports medicine. One of our front desk people actually calls our office mobility medicine, because we know how important it is to remain active. And that's really our goal in sports medicine, is to make sure people are able to move their body, to expend energy in the way they want to and need to. So with this, we actually have a couple wellness-based specialty clinics that Dr. Radloff, who's in the middle there, and Dr. Samant run. One is Metabolic Bone Health Clinic. So osteoporosis, osteopenia. She helps those folks deal with those chronic conditions, talking about a lot of the same stuff that Cayuga Center for Healthy Living does. How do we max out exercise and diet to really treat that chronic condition of metabolic bone health? I mean, if you look at it, 50% of women over the age of 50 will have bone health issues at some point. And our goal there is to really make sure that folks are maxing out that bone density as early as possible, and then managing whenever it does become an issue for them. Next is Dr. Samant. He runs a non-operative osteoarthritis clinic, so really focusing on osteoarthritis of the knees, hips. This is a big piece that we see a lot in folks who have aged a little bit, maybe a little bit of wear and tear, and it actually prevents them from living a healthy lifestyle because they're not able to move. And it really, you get into this kind of downward spiral of you can't move the way you want to, so you gain weight, so you have more pain. And he really works in conjunction with the physical therapist, with the Cayuga Center for Healthy Living, to take a holistic approach to make sure that folks can move the way they want to move. So I'll talk a little bit about, some community events, just things that are out there. We do have, in partnership with the YMCA, Healthy Kids Day. So we are going to have a booth kind of talking around folks from Cayuga Center for Healthy Living that are going to, obviously focus on kids. How do we eat healthy? How do we make it fun? The Gorges Ithaca Half Marathon, it's kind of a hallmark event here at Ithaca. This year, it actually is going to end at the Cayuga Wellness Center right behind the Cayuga Wellness Center. This is something we've been in partnership since the inception, and really just a good opportunity for folks who maybe need a little bit of a challenge to kind of get themselves off the couch. And then we have restarted our community lecture series here at Cayuga Wellness Center. The next one is Wednesday, April 10th. And we have a speech therapist as well as a physical therapist who are going to kind of talk through those young ones. What are expectations that you should have? How do you make sure they're moving the right direction? But really, really opportunity to kind of learn a little bit, especially if you do have little ones on the way or little ones en route.
Jen, how do people sign up for these
Yeah, great. So for the community lecture series, if you send an email to cls@cayugamed.org, they will get you on the reservation list. I'm pretty sure they don't turn people away. So if it's spur of the moment, you want to come down, totally fine. For the Healthy Kids Day, you can find more info on the YMCA website. And then for the Gorges Ithaca Half Marathon, you can just Google Gorges Ithaca. I believe this also lives on a couple different community pages as well. So the Gorges Ithaca is kind of midsummer, I believe, is when the date is. I don't have it right off the top of my head, but just another opportunity. They're always looking for volunteers as well. I'll say that. So if you're interested in handing some water out, I don't think they turn you down.
Okay, so you said CLS at that first one?
CLS@cayugamed.org.
At cayugamed.org. Okay, I'm going to put that in the chat.
Perfect. Thanks, Glo. So I do want to, as we're talking about physical activity, I actually wanted to highlight, because I'm a big proponent of moving your body. I think that's the best thing you can do. This is actually some research that's recently come out. It comes from a meta-analysis that, we think of the positives of physical activity for physical health, but sometimes we don't always realize how much it can benefit our mental health. So this comes out of the British Journal of Medicine. They did a meta-analysis, and they were really looking at interventions comparing physical activity and medication. And what they found was very, very profound. They found that things like walking and jogging were actually more beneficial than medication for decreasing depression symptoms. So we'll talk about this a little bit later on. This is really part of the reason to spur on some of the events that we're working on currently. But really, I think, maybe wrongly, I think exercise fixes a lot. I personally know that if I don't exercise a day or I go a few days without exercising, I kind of feel lousy. So research really backs up the benefit of just doing something, moving the body, right? They actually buried the lead a lot on this because they actually found that dancing was the most superior type of exercise. And I think a lot of that comes down to when you're dancing, you have a little bit more of that community connection. A lot of times you have a dance partner, there's good music. Anybody who's been to a concert and, just moved their body can tell you, yeah, I feel it. But overall, I think the hallmark of this is having some sort of physical activity. If we can ingrain that takes care of a lot. It doesn't take care of everything, but it's a good place to start. And notice how I say physical activity, not exercise. I always try to stay away from that exercise word. It's a little bit taboo. moving your body. That is the most important thing. Whenever I think about, how can I start a journey to improving my wellness? Move. So I'll jump into a little bit of the work that Glow and I have been kind of endeavoring in. A new program that we will be rolling out is what's called Walk With Us. Kind of comes off of this type of lecture. And the idea is to really pull some providers in to go on some walks with community members, right? So super simple concept. Um, some of the benefits right here listed, right? So we're getting a little bit of exercise. There's that social connection of, I'm talking to somebody. A big piece in my mind is that health education, because I understand how intimidating healthcare can be. Working in the healthcare field, sometimes I forget how intimidating it can be to come into a doctor's office and how intimidating doctors can be, right? So they've got a big degree, they see a lot of patients. But really, we're hoping to remove that barrier to a certain extent to make people feel a little bit more apt to come see a provider. And then if they have questions, simple questions, they can obviously review those with the provider. And then maybe that prompts some folks to, actually seek some care, right? So this is going to be coming out this spring. We're doing a little bit of a pilot, probably about a 4-week program with different providers from across Cayuga Health to really provide info, but more or less like rub elbows and go for a walk. So super excited about that. Glow, do you have anything to add to this at all?
Yes, so this is our brainchild, Adrian, and our baby, and we're so excited about this. And it's all about, removing those barriers and actually being able to connect with a provider and really ask those questions. And it's also about building community and fellowship with people that are trying to take the same journey with you. It's a 4-week cohort that we're looking for. So it's not just like a one-time thing. You come in here or there, but it's 4 consecutive walks that you'll be taking, and there are 4 different themes. So the first, one of the themes will be like physical health, and that's going to be led by Adrian. We're going to have a neurologist. We're going to have a cardiologist there to ask your heart health questions. And then we're also going to have a doctor who is an overall whole health provider, maybe talking about other like alternative medicine kind of thing. So it's a pilot program, and we do actually have a link I'm going to add in the chat for anyone who is interested. So we're looking for maybe about 10 or so, just a really small group. It's a pilot. And then we are at the end, if you have joined us for all 4 weeks, at the end, you have an opportunity to win an Apple Watch or an Android Watch, whichever one you prefer. So that's a small little incentive to joining in this program. So we're very excited about this. Thanks, Adrian.
Yeah, we're very, very excited. I'm hoping that this actually spurs more of these walks on because I do see this as a huge opportunity. As I said, I'm a big fan of just moving your body. Walking is the simple way to do that. Another event that's we're planning for summer of 2024 is in partnership with the Ithaca Community Garden summer series. The idea behind this is we do understand that the Ithaca Community Gardens were displaced a little bit as they put that new building up, and we're trying to help support them. So with this event, it is going to be a weekly event that kind of runs through the summer. Is going to bring in some gardening education from the Ithaca Community Garden, some physical activity. We've talked about yoga, walks, some other things, and then some what we call munch and learns. So grab a bite, let's learn a little bit together. So more to come on this. We're still in the planning phases, but hoping to get this out to the community as we move forward. So that's what I got for you. Just a little bit of a highlight, some things that we're working on, some things we're excited about. So I'll kind of open it up a little bit. Let me hop into the chat.
So there were two questions.
Yep,
What health insurances are accepted? That's from Wendy.
that's great. That's a hard question for me to answer quickly. So most major health insurances are accepted by CMC. Um, there is actually on the website a pretty full listing as to what health insurances we do participate across the region. It's pretty much all of them, although there are a couple that we don't participate with. I always tell people if you contact the offices directly, they can tell you if we partner or participate with their insurance.
Another question from Jan, who pays for these services?
I'm going to guess this was probably surrounding the services at Cayuga Center for Healthy Living or Cayuga Wellness Center. So a lot of these services are covered by insurance. Obviously, like Raza Spa, Island Health and Fitness, those are fee for service. But many folks can have a lot of additional benefits within their insurance provider. What I always tell people is, I think this is a little bit of a misnomer or misunderstanding is not everybody takes full advantage of health insurance. So there's a lot of little intricacies with each individual health insurance. So I always encourage folks to reach out to your health insurance provider or, yeah, your health insurance provider and see what your benefits are. Because often there are health and wellness benefits that folks don't take advantage of and things, covered services that you could take advantage of. So best place is to always touch base with your health insurance company and they can help guide you through that.
Yes. She says she recalls Fidelis and Molina are not accepted, unfortunately.
I think
I'll
I
call,
think they are.
I can call and double check.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty certain Fidelis and Molina are covered services.
I thought so as well. Is Let's Walk free? Yes. Yes, it's a free, it's totally free. We want people to sign up for it. The link is in the chat, right above your comment, Wendy. So please share that widely. Is there a link to the Cayuga Health website about the Ithaca Children's Garden on walking programs that are going on?
Not yet. There will be. So we will get word out to the community. We're just tidying up some of the administrative pieces, but that will be coming out soon. And obviously, we will want to market that out to the community.
Perfect. Question from Shelly Michelle. No. Is there an org chart that shows all the doctors, healthcare providers under Cayuga Health? And it looks like Laura put a link. Does that answer your question, Shelly?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Now we realize it's 12:32, and if you need to hop off, we completely understand because this is a 30-minute call. But we generally like to add a few minutes just to wrap up the questions and make sure everyone's questions get answered. So please don't feel the need to stay on if you need to go. We did have a couple questions from earlier, someone who registered earlier. It says, please explain the school health aspect of your title and offerings.
Yeah, so we do work with the local school districts, including BOCES, to provide kind of a plethora of services. So medical directorship through pediatricians. We also provide school nursing services, support on that side. During more of the heavier COVID times, we actually provided in-school testing for COVID to get kids back really quickly. It really does, it kind of runs the gambit. We also provide athletic trainers for sports medicine coverage to the majority of Tompkins County schools as well. So a lot of touch points whenever it comes to school health.
Perfect. How to register for food as prescription program?
Yeah, that's a curveball there a little bit. I know that Cornell does run I think it's FVRX program. And I believe that's through Cornell Cooperative Extension. I can definitely get more information on that and get that to the group here though.
Okay, so that's not a Cayuga Health initiative?
Yeah, I believe it's through Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Okay, perfect. I hear that, let's see, since Cayuga Health has taken over multiple practices, people are having trouble connecting with their doctors. Are you addressing this problem?
Great question. Yeah. So, whenever it comes to healthcare, we actually see a huge need to make improvements, and through some of our partnerships, there is some work that's being done to help improve access to healthcare. One of the big ones is access to primary care, which I'm a big believer in having a medical home. So, as you saw in my previous slides, we do have some additional locations where primary care will be living. And I think a lot of that is recruiting good primary cares to the area. CMC does have a residency program, and really the hope behind the residency program is to bring providers, train them here in the community, and show them how good Ithaca is so that they stick around and really get ingrained within this community and help support the overall health and wellness here.
Perfect. See, any other questions? Okay, we have, let's see, are there mental or behavioral health practitioners available who have openings and accept Medicaid?
Yeah, we know that mental and behavioral health, it's not just a problem within our region, it's a problem across the country, right? So it's really having access to those providers. We do have within Cayuga Health what's called integrative behavioral health, where we kind of utilize behavioral health providers to assist in primary care practices. So they kind of go hand in hand, where they're providing support, but we do understand there is a need there. I believe there are a few places, but it is hard to get in. I'll just say it frankly. It's hard to get in when it comes to mental health and behavioral health services, but we're not alone in that.
Perfect. Another last question from Laura. When is Let's Walk? So the program will take place May 1st. So the first 4 weeks in May, on Wednesdays at 5:30, starting at the Ithaca Children's Garden. And in the chat, I put a link to the application if you wanted to be part of that pilot program. Okay, any last minute questions? You can just come off of mute if you need to. Okay. So we want to thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your afternoon with us. Prioritizing health and wellness promotes social equity by addressing these really serious healthcare access issues, and not just access, but knowledge and information disparity, which is why we do these things. So thank you, Adrian, for being here. Thank you all for being on this call. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Shameless plug, go to our website to know like news and events that's happening. Our next Let's Talk is with the Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Program. So if the lead with Anna Vergari, Travis Brooks, and Mary Orseo from the Ithaca Police Department. They'll be sharing about the good work that they do. It's a diversion program, diversion from jail into a program. That's going to be our next one. And then we have lots of great site visits that are coming up, ways to engage with us, because that's what I do, community engagement. So everyone have a fantastic day today. Enjoy this sunny weather. I'm sorry that you all lost an hour of sleep over the weekend. I'm still kind of getting over that. But again, thank you all for being here and have a great day. Any questions, concerns, or questions that you might have had that didn't get answered, please feel free to reach out to me. Everyone knows how to get me. All right, take good care. Bye.